going back to the original point, I digressed, but in any case, I wanted to show my appreciation, but also, Ya ibadallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking you to deliver the perfect solution. Allah is asking you to move. Allah is not asking you to know it all, for He said He knows it all. Allah is asking you to trust Him and move. Allah sent Musa to Khidr. Musa did not know, alayhi salam, what was the correct thing to do. And when Khidr did the correct thing, Musa objected because he didn't know that it was the correct thing. When Khidr puts the hole in the boat, Musa says, أَخَرَقْتَهَا لِتُغْرِقَ أَهْلَهَا, are you trying to ruin this family? Allah is not asking you to know, Allah is asking you to trust Him and move. And that's why I finish on this hadith. That's why I think Allah said that if you take one step towards me, I take 10. If you walk towards me, I come running. I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this because it's hadith Qudusi. I think the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this is because you know the 10 steps. He comes 10 steps to make sure you don't make 10 mistakes. Because when Allah sees you moving, that's all He wanted to see. Move, and if it was the wrong step, He guides you to 10 correct steps. That if you walk and it happens to be the wrong walk, wrong path, Allah comes running to make sure you don't continue on the wrong path, to bring it straight. Allah is not asking you for the right move. Allah is asking you to move based on what you determine, and Allah will open the guidance that you need to do what is right. And that's why if you notice the prophets, when they're under pressure, they don't say, Inna ma'ya Rabbi sayansuruni, Allah is with me, He will give me victory. They say, Inna ma'ya Rabbi sayahdeen, Allah is with me, He will guide me in terms of how to move forward. And that's why, ya ibadallah, this is what I mean. I don't know what's the best idea. I know my answers sound vague. I know it sounds like that whenever anyone asks me a question, Sammy, where's your ear? I'm doing this and I still can't find my ear. I get it. But what I'm trying to say to you is, you know the solution without asking me. You know what you need to do without asking. You know what you have to do. What's stopping you is that you feel that your inability to see the result on the other side means you shouldn't move. I'm telling you, you're not supposed to see it on the other side. You're supposed to move, and Allah will eventually show you what it looks like on the other side. Accept Allah knows what it looks like. Accept that He's the one you trust to know what's on the other side. Accept that He's the one, the best person to, the best being to trust with the future, and say, Allah, I don't know what's the right path in terms of how the right strategy, but I do know someone committed a genocide, and I do know we should punish the one who committed genocide, and I do know based on my limited wisdom that we have some sort of ability to do so. I don't know how to deploy that power, but Ya Allah, I'm going to try and move, and Allah guide my path to maximize the use of that power. And I think when Allah hears that dua from you, He will say, Ya ibadallah, because you move, I'm ready to give it to you. And that's why when you read even about the prophets, you might feel the heartbreak, you might feel the despair. But the reason why I think that the seerah is an extraordinary book of politics, why I think the Quran is an extraordinary book of politics, is because in the Quran, Allah tells us that Nuh alayhi salam got so frustrated with the lack of results from his da'wah that he said, Rabbi inni da'awtu qawmi layla wa nahara wa lam yazidhum du'ai illa firara wa anni kullama da'awtum litaghfir lahum ja'alu asabi'ahum fi adhanihim wastaghshaw thiyabahum wa asarru wastakbaru istikbara. Nuh alayhi salam says after his da'wah, Allah, I've called on my people day and night. The same way some of you here, you whisper. He keeps telling us social media, we've been doing it for 100 days. That's 100 days. Nuh did it 900 years. Nuh alayhi salam says, Allahumma, I've called on my people day and night, and every time I call on them, they run away from me. And when I call on them so you might forgive them, they put their fingers in their ears, they cover their faces, and they treat me with arrogance. The question here, ya ibadallah, Nuh is not seeing the results alayhi salam that he wants to see. Does he stop? Does he give up? Does he go home? Does he say it's useless? He keeps repeating it again and again and again because it's all he knows what to do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards him for what? For moving. Rewards him for mobilizing. Rewards him for never giving up. Because for the Muslim, this dunya is about getting into Jannah through our striving and our efforts. And that's why, ya ibadallah, don't be an ummah that does nothing. Don't be an ummah that sits at home. Move, ya ibadallah. Move. Move and make the difference, because you are making the difference. And ya ibadallah, when you judge victory, Don't judge it on your terms. Judge it on the basis that Allah has guaranteed it, and therefore you're judging your efforts on the basis that you're making them, not that they're succeeding. For wallahi, there are prophets who spent their whole lives strategizing, and Allah still destroyed their people at the end. Allah is the one in charge of the outcome. And that's why when you humble yourself to the point where you say, Ya Allah, I appreciate that nothing is out of your control in this world. I appreciate that every Palestinian who's died is in Jannah now with you. فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. I know it that there is no punishment of the grave. There's no waiting for the book in the right on the left. There's no day of judgment. There's no waiting for the scales. I know they're with you in a place where I'd rather be now. Give me the choice to spend the rest of the days in dunya, go to Jannah. Put your hand if you'd rather go to Jannah.
Sometimes